Hi folks, G3 here and welcome to another instalment of my journey to go green. Today's episode is another one of my gardening updates where I'll let you know what I've been doing over the last couple of weeks so you can have a look and see whether there's anything that gives you some inspiration. Maybe you get some tips from what I've been doing, or equally maybe you think I've been doing something wrong and you want to leave a note in the comments down below and let me know how you do things differently. It'd be great to hear from you. Right, let's get on with what I've been doing. Another one of my tasks this week. The heather has finished flowering, so what I need to do is trim off the top of it. I just used the garden shears just to give a bit of a trim. It's really just a case of snipping down and getting rid of the dead flowers, and that will help encourage more flowering in the future. Seeing as they've finished flowering, there's no problem doing that now, so there's quite a bit of heather that I've got here that I need to do this on, so that's the next task. There we go. The sun's getting up, so it's quite warm now, so it's warm work, but I've gone and given it all of a trim over the top, just a little thing. I don't particularly clear it away, it's just resting on there. It will go down and add to the humus underneath. It will break down and give it extra nutrients and the like over time, so that's great. I've done all of the bank down here, but also at the same time I've cleared the steps coming down because they were a bit dangerous, so I've gone and made it a lot more open, taken it back, removed some of the soil that had developed here, and some of these lovely Mexican daisies that are down here, Erigion I believe it's called. They naturally self-seed here all over the place. They're beautiful, they look lovely down these steps, but it was bushing out quite a bit, so I've gone and taken that back as well, and so we've got safe steps down there, so that's another good job jobbed. On with the next one. Another one of my jobs this week. A bit warm in the greenhouse, but it needs to be done, and this is the cucumbers. Now I've got a couple of plants here and a couple of plants here. I've got the string down to train them up, as well as a bamboo cane on both sides. It's growing quite quickly, so we've got the growing tip here, and to make sure that they're not spreading too much and taking over other bits and pieces, I need to make sure that it's trained up these two things. So it's a combination of cutting out some string to tie it in round, and also this trellising kit that I got quite some time ago. It's got a number of supports that can be attached to the string. Now obviously these are plastic. They're from a kit that I got quite some time ago, before I was sort of really thinking about what I was doing with plastic and the like. So as long as I keep using it and getting the most life out of it, that's the best approach with it, because I already have it. But equally you can use a bit of old string and tie it around the canes and the string, so I'm also going to be doing that. So let's have a look and see what's happening with this growing. So with this one, it's going to be simply a case of I need to attach another one of these supports on the string, and then I can use it to support, there we go, use it to support the cucumber going up, and then it will move its tendrils onto here and tie it on and keep support for itself. Right, so that's the one at the front. There's also one at the back. Let's see, the main, okay, so this is the main growing tip over here, so I want to try and train that back in, and I will use string to support that. And I'm going to go under the sort of nodes so I can give it a bit of support. And what I'm going to try and do is not tie it in too tight. It's got to be supportive without restricting the swelling and future growth of the main stems. So let's just tie that in there. There we go. So I've tied a knot to hopefully give that a bit of support there. Let's see if that's going to be enough to bring it round until the tendrils naturally also catch on there as well. I'll give it a bit of support further down as well. Good. And I'll just wrap a leaf around the cane to encourage it round that way, and another little bit of string at the top, so giving it plenty of space so that it can grow into that position. There we go. Brilliant. another good job jobbed. Another one of the activities I've been doing this week is doing some succession sowing on this raised bed. So we've got a nice crop of carrots growing here. They're doing really, really nicely, and I don't know if you remember, but I broadcast sowed those. Rather than doing it in a line, I had a square and I broadcast sowed them, and they're coming through quite nicely. And there's a couple of different sorts of carrots in there. It is the Chantenay Red Cord 2 and the Flyaway F1. So those are the two that I'd sown in here. And so what I've now done is I've sown this square with them as well. And the way that I did that is I pulled the soil back a little bit at the top, only about a centimetre or so, a little water, so that the ground was moist that the seeds were going to be on. Then I sowed the seeds on there, and I drew back the soil over the top of it again. So that's another bed of carrots that's going to be there. So once these are cropping and we're having those, these will be growing up, and so we'll have some more later once these have been utilised. I've also done the same with the parsnips. Now the parsnips I used were hollow crown. So those were the parsnips I've been using. There's been a bit of an issue in here in that a bird has fairly regularly got in and been rooting around in the soil. So that's affected the parsnips, and it's also affected some of the beetroots there. The beetroot row is also impacted. So I've used the same technique in this square, in that I drew the soil back, watered it, and I broadcast sowed the parsnips, nowhere near as many as the carrots, because the parsnips need more space. I then put the soil back over there. I've put another row of beetroot in for when these have grown, and replaced a few that were missing after the bird went rooting around in there. And I've also gone and sown another row of radish up there because we've finished the first row. We've got another row that's fully grown that we're now cropping, but I've gone and put another row back in the original that we've eaten, and they are Radish Rudy. They're an RHS seed. What I've also done is tried to hold down the netting a bit more. So I've put in some ties at the side to pull them together to hopefully stop the bird from easily being able to get in there. So just a little tie in here to pull them together so that there's no gap for it to get in. Obviously I'll keep an eye to make sure that it's not getting in here and getting stuck. So yeah, that's another good job jobbed, and it means that we're going to be having succession of nice crops throughout the season. Here's just a quick little progress update, just to show you that the onions and shallots are growing quite nicely. The used tree fern leaves or branches that I put on around them have managed to keep the birds and animals largely off there, so that's worked quite well. There are some plants and weeds coming through that I am going to have to remove. I've been reluctant to take the nice poppy from here. I've been leaving that in because I think it's going to be a nice poppy coming there, so that's why I've left that in, and the onions seem to be okay growing around it, but I will remove the weeds from inside. And also what I will be doing, we see we've got some flowering spikes coming on the onion, so I'm going to be removing that. It concentrates on growing the bulb rather than the flower. And another little update, these are the courgette plants. So you can see how the watering tubes are going to be handy as the plant grows. So that's going to sort of spread and there's going to be more leaves, but these watering tubes are going to be accessible for me to water right underneath the plant where it needs the water most. They're largely growing reasonably well, and we can see that we've got some courgettes coming on them here. They're going to be coming along soon and I'll be able to use those. Not all the plants have gone as well as planned, so there's one at the back that isn't growing quite so well. That's just how it goes sometimes. It's probably a combination of the plant being a little bit weak, it being a bit more shaded there. I will check to see if I've got any spare plants. I think I may well do, so I might change that over for one that's going to be a bit more successful. There you go, folks. That's what I've been up to over the last couple of weeks. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then please click the like button down below. And if there's anything that you've observed that you think you might have done differently, or let me know that you found it really useful, then please leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. And if you haven't done so already, then why not subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you get notified when I load up a new video. Well, thanks for watching, folks. Until next time, bye.